Okay, we are back. I
Okay.
apologize, Ian, for all of
No,
this.
it's all good.
But yeah, so for the third time, 2005, it did see. So the last actual function wasn't just the Ratuka. It was the arm gear.
The Hortica arms
Yeah.
and I think and Sidorak's like claw arm or
Yes.
sword arm, and then Ridaka and Kitangu's flippy things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kitangu had the shields. Ritaka had the what did they call it? The Ritaka catcher, I think,
Yeah. Yeah. The.
something like that.
Oh gosh, I think you're right. Let me double check the name. I think it's Ratuka Catcher.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I remember they were really cool in the sets, and in the movie they were just mm,
Catcher Claws.
catcher claws.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were the versions of the Ratuka shield and the catcher claws in the movies were just terrible. I think
Mm-hmm.
Katanga's one they were just big sticks with things on the end of them. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Want to rag on that movie more. Like, I still overall enjoy it, but God, did it? I think it made some missteps.
Oh yeah.
And then and then in the sets themselves, functionality was kind of starting to be phased out as people wanted more. Yeah, and I won't blame Lego. They went for what their audience at the time was looking for, which was posability. By that time I was 15. I was kind of out of the target demographic rate age.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember talking about that on BZ Power actually. A few discussions coming up like that. It's like these older teenager and adult Bionicle fans that kind of felt like this wasn't for them anymore. And it's like, well, yeah, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress.
Yeah.
So, and actually, fun fact: to this day, 2005 sets are the that's as far as I own for
Really?
G1 sets. Now, I did continue to buy into 2007 because I used to have the Anika, the Voyatorin, Paraka, all the Titans from that time, and then into 2007 with the Mari. I think I got the first half of that wave,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually I sold them all off on eBay because
Okay.
as we got into 2006 with the Anika, it was all about the posability. I
Mm-hmm.
did not care much for the glow in the dark. It was a cool novelty, but I didn't care about it. The light up swords, I didn't care about it. But again, to Lego's credit, they were playing to their target demographic, which was again no longer me. Some of those sets I actually gave away to my younger cousins years later, and they loved it. They loved it. So in that regard, Lego clearly knew their target audience.
Mm-hmm.
But again, not really much for me. But even if I was kind of iffy on the sets, I was really excited for the story. Voyanui, this new island. What is it? It's so mysterious. Felt very much initially. It felt very 2001 again, with all this new mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it got off to a pretty good start, especially with the comics. I don't remember the name of the artist that they brought in for the Anika series, but his art is beautiful. Oh my god, I could
Oh.
gush about it for hours. It hit this very mysterious and almost horror esque tone very well. I talked about like how at the start of the Vizirac horror esque theme with the Vizirac. I think they nailed it much stronger in 2006 than they did with the Vizirac. Um, when it comes to the comics, at least. Um, to this day, like if that artist is involved with a project with a comic, I will buy that comic just for his art.
um,
Some of my favorite.
I think he still does comic work. I know that.
Yes, yeah.
So, so the comic artist is Stuart Sager.
Thank you.
Stuart Sager. Stuart
Yeah.
Sager. There we go. He still has comics. Yeah, I've heard your perspective on this, but well, not yours specifically, but I know a lot of people who share your opinion on his
Mm-hmm.
comics. Personally speaking, he was my least favorite of the artists, but that's just because
Yeah.
my familiarity with comics are the Carlos de Anda works from '01 to '02,
Mm-hmm.
and like the super
Those are
detailed. And,
those are gorgeous. Oh
oh
my
yeah,
god,
oh
that influence for a long time. That influenced the kind of art that I wanted to do as an
hmm
artist.
yeah. But no, I totally get where you're coming from. It's very
Mm.
atmospheric.
Yes.
Sturt's Sturt's artwork. It has a lot of atmosphere. It has a lot of. It's very unique. It's awfully striking and characteristic.
Yeah. And for me, it felt that it fit the themes of Voya Nui that Lego was going for at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But talking about general story, I kind of lost interest. Like I wouldn't not necessarily lost interest, but it wasn't as interesting. Again, similar to 2005. Like it started out very strong, I think, and then kind of petered off towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Although actually going back to 2005 for a second, after I think it was 2005 at least, it was when these came out, when they did the post Hortica books.
Oh
There
yeah.
might have only been the one, but one that I always remember, and I had to talk about this because I think it's still my favorite Bionicle book. I think it was called Time Trap.
Oh yeah.
And it's when Vakama goes back to retrieve the Vahi Mask of Time, and it's one of my favorite moments to cite to people unfamiliar with the Bionicle lore as just one of these amazing moments. Is Vakama and Makuta are fighting over the Mask of Time, and Vakama figures out what he's got to do. He threatens to smash the Mask of Time, unleash these chaotic time force. He talks about how one day Makuta will kill him and he'll be back the next day to fight again. Vakama literally willing to put out his life on the line for all eternity to stop Makuta, and that resonated with me for years, even till now. It's just one of those brilliant moments of storytelling that stick out in my mind.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what it's a fan favorite for sure, and there's good reason for it. It's an excellent book.
Yeah.
I know exactly which ones you're talking about. The post. I mean, there's Time Trap. There was one in between 04 and 05 that's called Voyage of Fear. That's also a fascinating one.
That is.
But Time Trap's really solid. I will never not recommend the book Downfall from 07.
Oh, yes.
I definitely think that book alone is a strong reason why I think 07 is a super strong year, story-wise.
Yeah, story-wise, it definitely was. Back to wrapping up with 06, though. Story started out strong, kind of went iffy for me towards the end. I think his name was Vizon was kind of interesting, but it never felt like they used him as much. Maybe my misremembering on that regard. You can correct me. But it felt like there was a lot of build-up, and then there wasn't much in the way of delivery. But it's been a long time since I've read the books and comics from that year, so I could be wrong in that regard.
You're kind of right. He was more of an end boss thing, at least as far as the main story is concerned. There were some fan complaints eventually of actually oversaturation because he ended up showing it in a lot of the online serials. And people
I do remember those. Actually, I loved those when they continued with using him after Voya Nui.
Yeah, I thought
he was a
it worked
fascinating
out.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but there were some people who were like, all right, this is too much Vazon. Stop it. We don't want him anymore. And so on and so forth.
Oh, those poor unfortunate souls. But let's see. The big thing that always sticks out in my mind is like that. I think that was the year where I really became very aware of how companies would try to market to their demographics, because I still like the Anika advertising with the All American Rejects song, but Yo Yo Paraka, dude, even at that time, I cringed.
Yes,
when
thank
that
you.
Stuff
It kills me. It kills me every time.
Yeah, Yo Paraka. Like I'll look back on it with joy now, but in that same way, it's like, oh god, this was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up disliking rap. I still dislike rap. So I
never disliked rap, but that's very much like the modern companies like, yo, what up, kiddos?
Hello, my fellow kids. Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Exactly.
Somebody should post that over there.
My question is, who were they advertising the Paraka to? Like, don't get me wrong, I get the rap. I totally get the rap. My thing is, why in the world would your tagline be, "The gang is on the loose"? And like there's a commercial of them in a police lineup. Like, are you advertising gang activity? What's going on, Lego?
Yeah.
what demographic are you trying to get?
But, I don't know. It must. I don't know I don't know how well that campaign kind of numbers on that. Because obviously they never did that again for
know.
one reason or another. And
Yeah.
thank goodness.
I don't know. I've heard a variety of different things pertaining to how well that year did. I've heard it did do well. It was definitely a spike, but then '07 just bottomed out entirely.
Oh, I bet.
So
Which is unfortunate because '07 almost '07 reinvigorated for Bionicle for me from a story perspective, but that was definitely the final nail in the coffin. That was the last year I bought Bionicle sets until the Stars series in 2010, was it?
yeah,
Yeah, basically until the end of Bionicle, and eventually all the sets from 2006 and 2007 were given away or sold on eBay. One of the two, depending on the sets.
mm-hmm.
I might still have like a couple of them that I never managed to get rid of, but all my Bionicle stuff is in a storage unit these days.
You gotta break them out one of these days. Take a picture and show everyone.
Well, the problem is I don't have the space for it.
Nah, that makes sense. That's fair.
Yeah. So when I strike it, when I make it big on YouTube and can buy a house with 20 rooms, then I'll pull out the Bionicle figures. That'd be my dream. Is a room for my Halo, a room for my Bionicles. I have so many figures. I have all the figures for 2005. I have so many posters. My childhood room used to be nothing but wall to wall Bionicle in some way or another.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you right now, there is, to me, nothing more satisfying than being able to physically look up, and see every Bionicle set ever released in a single place. It's a very... And the thing is, you don't even need to have every set to have that feeling, because I still look at other people's collections and go, that's a good collection.
Yeah.
If you have just a good collection, you can have that exact same feeling, and it's so good. It's invigorating.
Mm-hmm. I would literally spend hours just looking at my collection, and especially when 2003, and that was when I finally got the Takanuva and sets. Like, yes,
yeah,
this is it.
Yeah,
but going back to 2007, so yeah, reinvigorated the story for me, especially the Creeps from the Deep commercial. I remember Lego teasing that, and then it finally released. Such hype in the community at the time for that video. And of course, that was the formal introduction of Cryo Shell, which is always interesting. I still love their music, but
oh yeah, it's so good.
But so that was very interesting time. But set wise, I bought the first wave with the Toa Mari and the Mari Torin. I'm always trying to remember the community names for the Matoran. I always loved that. Mictorin, Metruin, Voyatorin, and
Mari Torin.
Mari Torin, I think.
Yep.
Were the ones that come in. Oh, and of course the Mol Torin, MOL Torin from 2000. How could I forget those?
I've always taken personally to calling them the 03 Matoran, which is a tad more cumbersome. Yeah. But yeah, Mol Torin is another popular one.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. Actually, fun fact from 2003, I was one of the people that did not believe Takua was the Toa of Light. So, if anyone remembers that great debate, who's going to be the Toa of Light? Some people figured out that it was Takua, not me. I'm like, no, it can't be Takua.
That's fair.
I don't remember why I was so ardently against that idea, but I was. I'm very much, even to this day, I'm very much if I pick an opinion, I'm going to plant my feet in the ground on that.
That actually, before we continue on through the years, I have a question for you. I don't know if you knew this or not. I'm going to assume you knew this because it's a trivia fact that came out kind of after the fact. Takua, canonically, is the first Matoran created, period.
I do vaguely remember hearing something about that, but...
How do you feel about that?
I would say, Like, it seems kind of, like, at worst, it seems like kind of, okay, why did you decide to do that? But, it doesn't really harm anything. It doesn't harm my enjoyment of the series by any stretch. So...
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. I was just curious because I've seen a lot of different reactions to that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like had I been more active in the community at at the time, maybe I would have had a different reaction than now. So like I said, it sounds familiar, but I couldn't tell you for sure if I actually knew that before. I might be, in my head, it might be getting I might be getting a little cross-wired.
Yeah.
As Matt's would say.
Just another cross-wired freak. No.
Yep.
But yeah.
So in 2007, last year, I bought sets. Eventually sold them off, but story was still interesting, and I kept up to date with it through the books, through the online serials, and through the commercials. And 2008 afterwards, everything of my exposure to sets was purely from the commercials, which so I can't really comment too much on them other than aesthetically. Like
fair.
I'll say this: the Toa Fantoka almost got me to want to buy the sets again, but then the Toa, I don't remember what the other group was called, Mystica. The Toa Mystica just killed my interest. Tahu, Gali, and Anawa just looked terrible. They just that adaptive armor just, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like especially after the Fantoka, they looked so good. Pohatu looked like Pohatu, Kopaka looked like Kopaka, Liwa looked like Liwa. They looked so good. And then the Mystica just looked. For one thing, they looked very bare bones by comparison. Like they looked like stick figures.
Yeah.
But then the masks. Like it wouldn't have been so bad if it weren't for the masks. The masks were just terrible for me, and I couldn't enjoy that.
That's the thing. It's like the Fantoka and the Mystica from a set perspective. I'm going to go a little set reviewy here. From a set perspective, they're totally fine. They're average. They're purely average. There are some intricacies that they all have, idiosyncrasies, and so on and so forth. The problem with the Fantoka and the Mystica at their core is that they fail at being adaptions, which is ironic given the name of their armor. They don't do a good job being representations of the characters they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The Avatar in that year were interesting, learning where Bo-Rock come from. Yeah, again, lore-wise, I still was very fascinated with everything. Loved learning more about the Brotherhood of Makuta. I'll be one of the few people that I think, because I don't have much exposure outside of what I remember from the time, but learning Makuta's true name, the Pterodax, I won't say I didn't have a negative reaction, but I don't think it was ever as severe, I guess, as it had been for some other people. And these days, I actually like knowing it to the point that I am still annoyed that we don't know the Shadowed One's name.
Well, I mean,
want to know what it is.
It came down to a vote.
I know, and I hate whoever voted against it. I hate you all. I've never met you, but I hate you.
It's very fascinating looking at the reception to that, because a lot of people, especially nowadays, will say, as soon as we learned his name, his mysterious nature just flew out the window. Pterodax? Terror, we get it. But it's like, listen, you gotta be... It was voted. It was democratically decided. It was a pure, plain and simple poll. Which one do you want to know more? Pterodax or the Shadowed One's name? The Shadowed One... See, when Makuta became a species, the necessity for Pterodax to be hidden went out the window.
Yeah. Like, I could not imagine had they tried to continue telling that story while still calling Makuta or Pterodax Makuta when you got all these other Makuta running around too.
Yeah, like Bittel, Gorast, Antraz, etc. Exactly. But the Shadowed One, his whole thing is mystery. Pterodax, he was more of an atmosphere almost. And I understand why people don't like how he was portrayed in Mask of Light, because it drifted away from the kind of more ideological aspect of Makuta.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, listen, as the story progresses, the Brotherhood becomes a thing. His name is Pterodax. Yeah. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. But I did love seeing all the Makuta, the different types of Makuta. You had your classic, like, megalomaniacal Makuta, and then you had some very philosophical ones in a lot of ways. They weren't necessarily evil. It's like, some of them were just, this is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what makes Krika such a fan favorite.
Yes, Krika, thank you. That was my favorite Makuta.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name, but he was the one that captured my interest. that year.
Yeah. No, I definitely. I mean, listen. If you ever want set recommendations, I don't know anyone better to ask. But Krika's really fascinating. He's a good twist on things. He's a good spin.
Yeah.
And I think that the way he went out in the story was really good. It was very fitting for him.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Oh, no.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me of something I forgot from 2007. I did cry when Motaro sacrificed himself.
Yes.
I'll own up to that.
That's why
that was beautiful. That was beautiful from a lore perspective, from a storytelling perspective.
Yeah, that's why I highly recommend. It's not just because of the Motaro sacrifice, but I highly recommend Downfall as a book generally.
Yeah.
Because it hits all the notes. There's some good characterization from Motaro. Jala. Holly even has some really shining moments. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are a lot of...
I know Jala and Holly.
It's not canon, dang it! It's not! Okay?
Darn it, Greg! It's I want it to be canon. It's so adorable.
No! It was one flower on the mask, and that's all you get.
Yeah,
but
and a little look in Mask of Light.
You're gonna forget about that look, or else you'll be made to forget it. But Downfall's just a really solid book all around, and Motaro's Sacrifice obviously is a large part of that.
Mm-hmm. Then, of course, 2008 comes to an end with the Awakening of Mount Nui, and I think everyone else was just as blown away when he wakes up. It's a giant robot. That was cool. I personally never saw that coming. I think some people did, but personally never did. I thought that was awesome. And then the eyes turn red. It's like, no, Makuta won!
Yeah.
Or did he? As the Mask of Light gets blasted out into space. Or Mask of Life. Did I say Mask of Light?
I do that all the time.
Yeah. They're very... Yeah. Hey, remember the MOL? Wait, the Mask of Life or the Mask of Light? So I remember people abbreviating like both of them as the same. It's like... You can't even do MOL and MOLI to differentiate them because they...
Right.
So
I've seen some people when talking about the Mask of Life, they go MOLE. Sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen that. That one works a bit better.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, no. What did you think about that? I love how they did the reveal because it was first of all, that's Matt Nui, the literal first time we ever saw him, and then boom, immediately, the rug is taken out from under everyone, and it's Makuta.
Yeah, it's Makuta's in there. I remember Toa Nuva looking up and like they're being celebrated in Mata Nui, and then the stars rearrange themselves into the Mask of Shadows. Oh, jeez.
It was really
You think you won. You think you completed your destiny, but no. Makuta won. Like, and just think about that. That's like that was how many years? Like 1,000 or like tens of thousands of years in the making to get to that point. Plans within plans within plans. Oh my god! I'll tell you, there are a lot of series that I'm into where they have like these villains that they have like all these intricate plans and backup plans and failsafes. None have ever convinced me of it as well as Makuta did.
Mm-hmm.
That they're capable of that level of planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going off into anime for a second, when Aizen says, "Oh, I planned everything from the start," it's like, no, you didn't. You're a piece of crap. Shut up, Makuta. I planned everything from the beginning. That's brilliant.
Yeah. No, I think for the most part they did Pterodax very well. There are a couple of things where it's like, but did you though?
Yeah.
Which would be like the most notably Takanuva beating him. Yeah. And I think a couple others I'm failing to remember. But yeah, no, I agree. I think Pterodax, maybe we're biased, but I think Pterodax was very well executed.
Yeah, it very well could be a bias, but I think it's probably because of the constant presence he had, the constant coming back. Mm-hmm. I'm just remembered just now the very end of the Borak Kal animations from Templar Studios when they defeat the Barag, and you think, oh, everything's good, and then there's that familiar swirling mass from the Mount Nui online game, and Makuta just appears and
yeah, that really, I can't describe that laugh as anything other than Halloween-y.
Yeah, it very much is, but it fit for those animations, I think. But even still, it very much like it got me so hyped for the Rockshi
Mm-hmm.
at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
2009, I
Yes.
think,
Oh
is where I
nine.
stopped following. I know I didn't have the comics in 2009. I think it just kind of gave up on Brickmaster, or if that was still the way to get them. I
It
think.
was. Yeah.
Um, I don't remember if I have the books or not. I know I was still buying any guides available, and definitely still buying, or not buying, but still listening to the online serials.
Mm-hmm.
But the Glatorian, like in concept, the whole Bara Magna and Spherus Magna stuff was fascinating, but I don't know. Maybe I was just I was 19 at the time, just started college around that, so I don't know if maybe I just. And at that time, I was really getting into Halo a lot more. So there's a lot of things that I might have started falling out of Bionicle for a variety of reasons
Mm-hmm.
overall.
Yeah,
But
I can understand that. A lot of people had similar sentiments. Granted, a
mhm.
lot of people just kind of dropped off because they hated the concept. Because, like, he spent 8 years in the Matorn universe with Toa Tahu and Jala and so on and
Yeah,
so
which
forth.
I can definitely understand. So it was a risk for Lego and mixed results. Mostly, I think negative, since the next year was the last year.
Yeah, basically,
But
I understand why they did it because they needed to do something new and
mhm.
fresh,
Yeah,
and
it's like
just
the same reasoning behind why Generation Two is entirely divorced from Generation One. It's like by 2008, there's so much lore and
mm-hmm.
terminology. I mean, dear God, you could almost speak in the Bionicle language because of all the different we had so
Oh
many
yeah.
terms
Well,
for everything,
heck,
and
think about it. So the Avmatoran transform into the Borak, which are operated by the Krana, and then they are teleported over into the Hive Swarm that is under the island of Matanui. Matanui, of which not only being an
yeah,
island, but also being a giant robot created by the Great Beings on Spherus Magna when the Core War happened, and the Glatorian and the Agori were fighting over the resource Energized Protodermis, which actually
yeah,
runs the Matoran universe itself, which is also known as Matanui, which temporarily was run by Tren Chrome. Now, back to the Borak and the Matoran. The Borak are run by Krana, obviously, and they're etc., etc., etc. It's
yeah.
like, yeah,
It gets so insanely deep, which I personally love. But you're an 8-year-old kid. Oh my God, that's got to be intimidating. I
of
can't
course.
imagine that.
It's still
And
intimidating.
so, yeah. And so even with all that extra deep lore, just the Glatorian was almost like a soft reboot. At least it felt like it. To try and say, okay, we're a new setting. We don't need as much baggage, at least for a little while, from everything that's come before. So we can try and have something almost of a fresh start. But it still ended up having kind of the same baggage, all these different specialized terms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
and the movie, we of course had our first Bionicle movie that year since 2005.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
what was it called?
The Legend
Oh,
Reborn.
Legend Reborn. Yeah, it's right here to my left on my
So
DVD shelf.
I
Fun fact that I actually won a copy of that movie off of a website doing a
really.
giveaway. That is the like when probably that is probably the only online giveaway I have ever won, and it was for a Bionicle piece of like maybe not the it's I don't know if I can call it my least favorite Bionicle movie. It's kind of hard to say between that and Web of Shadows, but
I
still I still enjoy it.
I can say for me it's Web of Shadows. Fun fact. This
I can
might
understand why.
might make you feel a little older.
Mm.
Um, September 15th this year is its 10-year anniversary.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it is. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. 10 years of the Legend Reborn.
Jeez.
But
Yeah, it was an okay movie. I'll tell you, Michael Dorn as Mud Nui. I don't think you could get better casting
I'm
than that. That's
right.
probably the best casting at
Yep.
Bionicles since Scott McNeil as Tahu.
I 100% agreed, and it's definitely classes above casting Dale Wilson as Lewa. Okay, anyway, but I mean, it's also a very quotable movie. Like the writing isn't
Oh
the
yeah,
best, but all endings are merely beginnings waiting to be born.
yeah,
My beginning was just the same. It's like it's a very.
yeah.
There are a lot of good quotes about it.
Mhm.
I don't think a day has gone by where I've used the phrase, you know, shoes on the other foot, but instead the metal
Yeah.
claws on the other foot.
Oh God.
every single
Yeah.
time.
And overall, the voice casting was really good. The animation. So you know what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Web of Shadows is the worst Bionicle movie. But
Yeah, I don't.
I'm gonna agree with you there.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Bionicle movies,
Mm.
fun fact. You know how in Legend of Metro Nui, the DVD, they have like questions that were asked by fans that they answered.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how there's one that was asked by an Ian in the United States?
No.
That was my question. Or at least
No.
I, as an Ian, asked that question, that exact question. I don't know, maybe some other Ian
What?
did as well, but that was the exact question I asked.
What? Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, I can never get confirmation if that was mine or not. Again, who knows? Who knows how many Ians there are in the United States? Thousands, at least thousands, probably more. But tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. It's not the most common name, but there are a lot of Ians.
But what are the chances?
Yeah, exactly. What are the chances that somebody else worded it just like that?
Goodness, that's really cool. Like I don't like I've obviously been very involved in the community, but I've never actually been involved in the other side of Bionicle, which is, I'd never entered any of the contests and won, or never sent anything in that was posted anywhere. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So that's my one claim to fame when it comes to Bionicle. I want that DVD.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm so glad I remembered to mention that.
I'm glad too.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
Yep. That's my bragging rights in this community. What have you done lately? Oh, you got in a book? I got it on a DVD. No, dude. Oh, I'll tell you. Those books were like all the fan creation, all the fan raw he got in. That was probably I think that's the coolest thing almost any company has ever done in terms of community engagement. It's like, make your mocks. We're going to put it in a book, and it's going to become canon.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved the interconnectivity with the story and the fan base. There's a lot of really good stuff that comes from that. It's very special. That's something G2 lacked substantially. Like, there were fan contests. Not a day goes by where I think about this. Where okay, so there was that one contest for all those golden G2 masks? The ones made out of gold? Yeah. And you had to send in a picture of something that seemed like a mask?
Yeah.
The golden mask of jungle was won by a picture of a trash can.
Are you kidding me?
What is that supposed to tell me? A trash can! A 24-karat gold mask of jungle!
Well, clearly your golden Liwa mask is worthless. Just start wearing a trash bin on your head.
Why did I think of it sooner?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's like they kind of lost that in G2. But regardless, G1, 09, a lot of people were ticked off because we're on a new planet. We have none of the same characters. Yeah. And then another group of people gets ticked off when, lo and behold, hey, look, it's Matsunui. He's here. And then all the build-up and setup for 2009 goes out the window. We're back in the main story, and Matsunui is happening.
Yeah. And then 2010.
Ah, yes.
The stars. Those were the last. I bought those because when it was announced that Bionicle, I bought sets. Like I got to buy these last sets. Mm-hmm. It's pure nostalgia at that point, but
yeah.
And they were okay, all things considered. I think I don't remember. I don't know if this is still the case. I remember at the time the stars sets got a lot of flack, which I think was undeserved. Just it's like this thing's going out. At least they gave us something to go out on.
I mean, they still get flack to this day, but I agree. I'm definitely a defender of the stars because a rumor has it was reported in a few different places. I think when I talked to Greg, he mentioned this. I don't remember. He or someone had mentioned that the Bionicle team had to rally and really petition the company, be like, give us just 6 more. Give us a little more time. Let us give this the ending that they deserve, at least.
I remember hearing something about, like, similar to that. I don't know if it was in relation to the overall story, but I do remember like Greg talking about I think it was Greg at some point talking about like we had to fight to get this to wrap this up.
Yeah.
And bless that team. Bless that team for giving us an ending. It was a rushed ending, but I mean, even just in terms of story content, like it's still sad that the serials never got to continue, but those final movies that they were releasing on Bionicle.com, wrapping up all the story, given the deep history of that universe, dude, seeing the construction of the Matanui robot, seeing him flying around in space to find out find a way to fix the planet. I don't know if you needed to spend 100,000 years to realize you can use your giant robot powers to gravitationally attract everything back together, but I digress.
Oh, wait. Do you know how that whole thing works?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
Educate me.
So the reason, Matanui robot gets made. The planet is coming apart. It's going to happen.
Energized protodermis, yeah.
So they make the robot and they give it 2 missions. 1, go out into space, spend however long you need to, and learn from other cultures. Come back so that we can learn from those other cultures so this doesn't happen again.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
It was an exploration robot. It was designed specifically to learn from all these different cultures, planets, etc., and then bring it back so that, because the Great Beans didn't really know how to govern anything. They were like, all right, we don't want to do this. We just want to focus on our sciencey stuff. So
these are the voyages of the giant robot Matanui.
Its
ongoing mission to find new worlds, encounter new cultures, to go where no being has gone before. God, casting Michael Dorn as Matanui just feels all the I don't know how to word it.
It's far more
that's even
fitting
better
now
that he basically voiced a giant starship Enterprise.
Oh yeah, no, it's brilliant. So he goes out and he does that. That's his first mission. He is on his way back.
Yeah, this part I know.
Yeah, when Pterodax the
when Legend of Metronui happens, yeah,
exactly, and then he crashes. So his other mission, once he was to return, the Great Beans were supposed to make a second Great Spirit robot. Pterodax was supposed to inhabit the MU, the Matoran universe, and Matanui was supposed to transfer to this new robot, and the two of them together were to bring Spherus Magna back together.
And that's why they were brothers back in 2001.
Which is, well, yes, for starters, yes, and also it's a little funny because canonically speaking, Matanui made Pterodax.
Yeah.
So it's less brotherly and more Matanui is just Pterodax's dad. Pterodax just kind of rebelled.
So Bionicle is about the ultimate daddy issues. Or the ultimate rebellious teen story.
I'm not going to listen to you, Dad. I'm going to just give you a virus and cause you to sit on Aqua Magna for 100,000 years.
Maybe then you'll understand me.
Sorry, 1,000 years. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was actually what the MU was supposed to do. It was supposed to go out, learn, come back, and then work with Pterodax to bring it together. Poetically, they ended up doing that anyway, just in a different way.
Pterodax got his head smashed in by, was it Spherus Magna or Bota Magna? I don't remember.
It was actually, so there are 2 different iterations. So the comic and I think the book, I'll have to double check that. 2 iterations say that it was a fragment from Aqua Magna, and then another 2 iterations say it was Bota Magna. Canonically, it was the fragment from Aqua Magna.
Okay.
Which
exactly.
Feels a little poetic as well.
Yeah. Aqua Magna at all feels appropriate.
Yeah. So, let me see. Now I'm really curious. I have to know which iterations. But anyway, yeah. How did you feel about 2010? Let's focus on the ending, which was just Tahu on the beach, how it began, and then we'll move on to the after the end stuff that is very controversial.
Yeah. Overall, the ending I enjoyed as much as I think I could have. Yeah, I liked the online little videos, doing deeper dives into the lore. Once again, voiced by Michael Dorn, amazing voice.
Oh yeah.
Um, and the ending was, I think it was satisfactory. The main ending was satisfactory.
Mm-hmm.
It was played out faster than it was meant to be, but still, yeah. I was hyped every week to get, or was it every week? I think they released a new, or was it every day they released a new episode at the end? Whatever time period it
I don't
was.
remember.
I was hyped every time a new episode released on Bionicle.com.
Oh yeah.
For a short, they were 2 minutes a piece or something, but I was always hyped, like, oh yeah, new episode. Let's do this.
That reminds me. So you know how the last one was Tahu.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you heard this before. So Kelly McKernan, who was the head of the website for a very long time, the Bionicle website, he designed Nektan's weapon, and he also named Skirmix.
Oh, cool.
He wanted to get Scott McNeil to voice that very last one as Tahu.
That would have been awesome.
And he wasn't able to do it. However, Scott McNeil is still a prolific voice actor, and he's a variety of different characters for Lego Ninjago. And there's another Lego voice actor by the name of Brent Miller. He is at some point going to be on the show. We're still working out the details. It is a very confusing and complicated process. Anyway,
I bet.
Brent's a great guy. He has his own YouTube channel where he brings on a variety of staff members from Ninjago, writers, directors, showrunners, and voice actors. Somebody sent in that quote, and Scott McNeil finally read it off on video.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that's awesome.
All came back around.
Eventually, yeah.
So.
All good things come to those who wait.
Yep. Unfortunately, Bionicle G2 wasn't one of those things. No. I riff on it a little more than I actually should.
It could have been. I'll tell you, when G2 was announced, I got very hyped, and I really, really loved the first wave of sets. The first year of sets, I should clarify.
Mm-hmm.
Second year was kind of, they were still fun builds, but they were a little less. The Toa lost their uniqueness, man. That was the coolest thing about not G1. First year of G2 is how unique each Toa build was, especially Anawa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
very nostalgic. Made me very nostalgic for the early days of Bionicle when each Toa for as restricted as they were, each Toa had their own unique build to some degree.
Yeah, that's what I see. The Toa Mata to me are very similar to Halo Reach Spartans, the customization, because it's a platform, but then all of the customization adds on to make it look very unique. The Toa Mata were absolutely that archetype.
Yeah. Even the Toa Nuva were like that too.
Yeah.
And it was kind of everything after that where they kind of got. I remember in 2005. No, not 2005. 2006. They were saying, "Oh, the Toa Ignite." No, you didn't. They made the Matorian unique, for better or for worse, but.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I've been on record a variety of times stating that I'm not the biggest fan of the Toa and Nika. I don't like the masks. I do not like those masks.
Like story point of view, like from purely on story side, it's interesting, but as sets, no, definitely not.
But I agree with you actually regarding the Masters, the Toa Masters from 2015.
Yeah.
I actually really do enjoy them. I think there is a strong argument to suggest that they are possibly the best Toa sets between G2 and G1.
I could agree with that.
Just looking at from like a statistic, like an objective point of view, and I know this gets thrown around a lot when you're talking about critique and criticism, but I think there can be an objective standard to Bionicle sets if you follow a specific set of criteria, points of articulation, what they're trying to emulate, color theory comes into play, part count, price per piece, etc., etc., etc. I think there's a strong argument to say that they're the best. If not the best, then some of the best, because they have great articulation. They look really solid.
Yeah. The thing that brought me in, like that immediately sold them for me, was they finally hit that perfect point between ideal posability and still having that
Yep.
gear function. Dude, the fact that the gear function came back for the, even if it's something as simple as swinging the arms, which you
Yep.
can technically even while retaining their full range of motion. Oh my god. Bless whoever designed those.
Yep. Yep. No, it's really impressive. And I know some people, there are a lot of people in the community. It's a little split. So it's half and half. A
Yeah.
lot of people like the Masters and a lot of people like the Uniters from 2016. I the reason people like the Uniters really perturbs me because they like the fact that the style went back to the kind of greebly pistons and details and unnecessary looking lines and angles.
Hmm.
I don't think that looks particularly good in mixture with CCBS, which is the smooth shell pieces from Hero Factory.
Yeah.
So as a visual appearance, I think that the Masters look more cohesive and as a result look better.
Yeah. I could definitely agree with that. My main issue is just like all the Toas seem to be the same with the Uniters. There was the unique body builds were entirely gone, or at least they were so subtle that it might as well not have been there.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Onua should not be the tallest character. I understand what they were going for when they kind of designed him. He was supposed to be the big bulk. He was supposed to be their Hulk,
Yeah.
but they got it right in 2015.
Yes, they did.
They made him large and bulky, but also kind of squat.
Yep. And I loved him in the online animations. He was like he was the gentle giant. That's Ottawa, man.
Don't fight. Yeah,
Yep.
but
That was beautiful.
yeah, no, I totally agree. The uniqueness kind of dissipated.
Yeah.
But
And one of several reasons I think that G2 failed, but that's another discussion.
it really is, and I think we're going to be wrapping up in a few moments here.
Yeah.
Um,
So
But
if you
that-
want to talk about the post 2010 like extra material
yes,
for G1.
let's do that. I'm also going to open up the YouTube chat to questions. So if anyone has any questions,
nice.
go ahead and ask them now, and we'll get to them in just a moment. But first, yes, let's talk a little bit about those cereals.
Yeah. Like overall, the Bionicle serials were probably what kept me going with the series after I stopped collecting the sets.
Mm-hmm.
There was so fascinating, such amazing deep lore, dude. All the times that like Toho would start traveling around to other dimensions and universes and get to see the Toa Empire universe, I think was probably one of my favorites.
Dark Mirror, yeah.
Yeah, seeing what would happen. Like I love that like a dictator takes over. It's Bionicle Hitler basically.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's the universe where everything's kosher. At least in terms of Mott Nui's mission.
Mm-hmm.
The inside might not be all that, might not be great to live there, but if you're Mott Nui, hey, everything, I'm not being poisoned and passing out for 1,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. It's a lot of people do criticize a lot of the serials. I think there is a decent argument for 07's serials that they added a lot of unnecessary fluff and kind of piled on the complexity of the franchise. But I can't make that same... I can't agree with that argument when it comes to 08.
Yeah.
Like, 08
I don't remember what year it was, but like meeting the good Makuta, who had completely white armor.
That was 08.
Was that the one from the universe where Motoro didn't sacrifice himself?
So that was going to be Brothers in Arms, I want to say, and that was... I'm pretty sure those Brothers in Arms. Maybe no.
Oh no, yeah, Makuta still existed. The Dark
Yeah.
Evil Makuta still existed in that one.
Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, you are thinking of Brothers in Arms, and that is when Voltrez and Mazuka went into that alternate dimension where the Makuta were good guys. That's the one you're thinking of.
Yes.
The universe where Motoro didn't sacrifice himself. Oh, heavens, what was that called?
Yeah. I don't remember what it's called, but that was a very... That was something that just epitomizes, I think, some of the best serials. It was a very mature story for this children's universe.
The Kingdom, that's what it was.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like these beings. You know, it very much reminded me of a Doctor Who story from the second Doctor, David Tennant's modern second Doctor. Sorry, the
Fair enough.
10th Doctor overall. David Tennant's story with Martha, when they go to the very end of the universe, and you have these last humans clinging to survival as their universe is collapsing around them. It's like that same kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
anyone gets that reference.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it was cool. Getting back to the actual point though, it was cool to have all those extra serials continuing after the proper end in 2010. And I know we've gotten some details since, but God, I don't remember what the series was called, but that last one, they were just on the verge of meeting a great being who had taken the form of one of the Voyatoran.
Yep.
the Talika. And then that was it. Nothing ever happened. At least not as a proper story. I don't know. I know there were some details since then because I don't remember I don't think the actual serial gave that answer. I think it was given away on the forums, on the BZ
Yes.
Power forums after the fact.
It was. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
What? Basically, someone had asked. Actually, I think it was the Lego message boards because Greg
Maybe,
eventually
yeah.
he couldn't go on BZ Power because of a Lego policy change, and so then he was on
That
Lego
explains
message
a bit.
boards, and then those got shut down. So now he's on the TTV message boards.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's great. He comes around every so often. He does answer questions. But yeah, it was revealed
Nice.
at a serial.
Yeah. So, and that's where Bionicle ended.
Yeah. Did you ever read the end of Samad's Tale?
Of what?
Samad's Tale.
I don't remember.
That's the one
It's
with
been
the.
almost 10 years since then. So like the only thing, my memory isn't that great. So like big details stand out. And other stuff, especially now that like since I've gone full Halo in terms of lore, a lot of the Bionicle details have faded away. Sadly, at some point, I want to dive back into that universe, reread all the. I know there's like a mega document out, all the books in one, and then
Oh yeah, yeah,
there are
yeah.
ways to get the comic. There are the Biomedia project has I think has all the comics online.
Here, let me go ahead
Was
and
it them
link
or someone
you
else?
something. Biomedia Project has everything Bionicle Media
Yeah.
related. Like they blew the lid off of the unreleased '01 game. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's where I originally found out about them. Someone had posted on the Bionicle Lego subreddit about that, and eventually followed it over to Twitter and found them, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It-
that was
it-
like a second renaissance for Bionicle for me on a personal level, just discovering that project.
Yeah, no, Bionicle Media Project's great. What I sent you is called Biological Chronicle: The Complete Bionicle Collection. I had the guy
Yeah.
who put a lot of this together on my show a few weeks ago. It's got everything.
Yeah.
So if you want to get back in the
I think
story,
I talked with him on Twitter once or twice, but yeah,
Perfect.
that's exactly it. So I can get back into it.
yeah, no, this has got everything. It's got comics, books, serials. It's got a story that was never released or properly translated into English by Lego, even though it was written by Greg in English. That was published in Poland. That was then fan translated back into English.
I'll take it, man. New Bionicle stuff after over a decade.
Yeah.
G1 stuff after over almost a decade. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's called The Crossing. It's a 2009 story.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, no, that's a good way of getting back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But Samad's Tale is it's one of the last three serials. So Samad's Tale, the Yesterday Quest, and the Powers That Be. Powers That Be were Kapak and Pohatu. They went up to the Red Star. Yesterday Quest was the one you were talking about. Samad's Tale was about that guy from the Iron Tribe that was kind of just wandering around.
Oh, is it the one with the
Yes.
dream sickness?
Yes.
Okay, I do remember that.
Okay, that one is the only one that finished. The other two didn't.
Okay.
But
I remember that one being extremely fascinating. That's a cool way to have a unique plague for beings that otherwise shouldn't be able to get sickness.
yeah, no, it's cool stuff. But yeah. All right, Ian, how would you feel about answering some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. Let me see here. Okay, well, first of all, whoops, this question's directed for me. It's a story question. Andrew asks, why was Pterodax subordinate to Miserix if he was so crucial? I'm not sure I follow. Wait, no, I follow now. I don't know. It's never really elaborated on, because Pterodax was the intended recipient of the MU, but that doesn't necessarily mean he needed... Humble. Like, he didn't need to be the head of the Brotherhood. You know, in fact, it would make more sense for him to be subservient to Miserix, because his importance wasn't as the head of the Brotherhood, which might distract him. It was as something else entirely. You don't want to have all your eggs in a basket. So
maybe teach him some, make him a little try to make him humble.
I mean, yeah, it didn't work, but yeah.
No.
Brother,
it's 2020.
Brother W asks 3 questions, one of which I will omit. I'm going to ask this one to both of us. Do you think Liwa is best waifu?
Obviously.
Yeah. How's this even a question? And the other one is, how was your day?
Day's been okay, but I'm going to be playing some Star Wars RP after this, so it's going to get a lot better.
Fair enough. All right.
Well, I shouldn't say that, because that implies that I'm not having the time of my life right now, which I actually am. So
it's okay. I've only taken great offense. Okay,
right now this is awesome, and then I'm going to have some fun after this.
That's all right. You've only broken my feelings and made me want to go and cry in a corner after this is over. That's fair. No.
Oh, my mission is accomplished then.
All right. OMG, I'm on fire asks, how do you guys feel as Halo fans that Mega Constructs is saving Construction with their buildable Master Chief?
I can't say I feel one way or another about it.
I'm gonna be blunt.
It's a cool figure. I'm gonna get it. That's about as much as I can say, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little callous. It's Mega Constructs. They're not saving jack squat. All right,
that's fair.
It's like they are dipping their toe into the construction market Lego made for them, but it's still going to be Mega Blocks at the end of the day. You're not getting Lego quality. That figure is not going to...
Oh, they're buildable bricks. They're the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
as old people are.
Mm-hmm, of course.
No, as I was building, was it Holly Mari, I think, had those pieces?
Yep.
And like I was reassembling her, and they started breaking apart. At the time, I didn't know that the quality issue, but
yeah,
at least it took a while to fall apart. The Mega Block set fell apart immediately.
Yeah,
and I was so done with Mega for a long time that I missed out on some amazing Halo themed sets that I kind of regret now. And they've gone up in quality, but I'll tell you, the majority of my sets, for one thing, I hated how they used to. They like Mega finally got on board with, doing the numbered part bags.
Oh,
because before you'd have to open up everything, lay it out, and dig. Like, dude, building the Scarab for Mega Blocks took me a week because of the disorganization in there's. But the quality has generally gone up. But even still, I like every set, with one exception so far, has been missing parts.
Yeah, and so basically that's a good testament to why I'm saying Mega Constructs, they're not saving Construction.
Yeah.
All right? Construction is not going to be saved because of one Master Chief that is a Mega Blocks quality.
Yeah.
So, okay. Zach Higginson asks, Ian, what is your favorite Bionicle set, character, and mask and/or power?
Oh, man. Well, set is Kanai Ra Moaka from 2001, because those are so much fun to play with. And the expanding neck and crunching jaw, I love taking them and, having the two battle it out and try to rip out the Kanohi mask. And their freaking arms fall off. That's brutal and awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, favorite set. What was it after those?
Character.
Oh, that's a tough one. Favorite character. Batoro would definitely be up there as one of my favorite characters. he had an amazing storyline from 2000 all the way from 2001 when you meet him on the mountain side uh in
Minogue.
Kauai, yeah, in Minogue in Kauai,
Oh yeah.
all the way to his unfortunate
Heroic.
end, his heroic end. Thank you. I was at a loss for words there. But
We
he's
all
definitely
were.
up there as one of my favorite characters. Makuta Pterodactyl would be up there as one of the your favorite character to love to hate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put those two down for now.
Okay, that's reasonable. And then finally, mask and or power.
Because I don't remember all the. I'm gonna just say the how would be my favorite mask. I'm cliche like that.
That's
Tahu
okay.
was my favorite Toa. Was my favorite original Toa, I should say. 'Cause I just said Matoro as a favorite character.
No, hey, how's all right? How's an iconic
Yeah.
mask? I mean, look at me.
Yeah.
Mirror's my favorite, so
Yeah,
can't go wrong.
we're both equally bland.
Excuse me?
You're excused.
Oh, okay, thanks. Be right back. No. All right. Next question. All right, so that one was retracted. So, fair enough. Okay, come on, where is it? All right, next question is from Retrozade, who asks, this is more of a gaming question, but what are your opinions of Master Chief in Smash Brothers, as characters like Joker and Snake are weapons, and are in M games, and Banjo is a Microsoft property?
I'd love to see Master Chief making it a Smash. It's been one of the demands of the Halo community. The Smash Ultimate was announced, and they were bringing out all the characters. Everybody, the entire community wanted Master Chief in there. So, if Microsoft and Nintendo can make it happen, heck yeah.
Now, see, I'm of the opinion where it could happen, I guess, but why would you have Master Chief when you could have Steve from Minecraft?
Because I like Master Chief.
All right, reasonable.
I can't
Okay.
think of a witty response to that,
That's
unfortunately.
that's right. Brother W asks, 2 questions. 1, have you ever eaten a mangosteen?
Nope.
All right, fair. And 2, what did you think of The Last Jedi?
I like The Last Jedi. I will
out.
defend most of it.
Get out of my get off my show. I never want to see you again. I can't do.
Well,
Nope,
you
nope.
haven't seen me once, so.
Okay, that's not incorrect, but
Yeah. I'm sorry. I enjoyed Last Jedi. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
all right, fair enough. You can do this, LJ. You've had
So
other guests on
my
before.
address, if you want to kill me, is no.
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna tie you up in the basement and show you better Star Wars movie. No,
Like
right.
Solo.
I liked Solo.
I like Solo too. I think it got way more flack than it deserved.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. I was entertained by Solo. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so when I say I'm not big on Star Wars, I mean it. Which just goes to show you how much I didn't like Last Jedi as a movie. Like, I don't really think a Star Wars movie is a thing, but as a movie, I just wasn't very satisfied watching it. It just wasn't enjoyable to me.
To each their own.
But yeah,
I don't judge.
that's all right. I will judge. Get out.
judge.
No, I'm kidding. I heard that. All right. So, next question is a little morbid, but all right. Clognog asks, what do you think of using small animal bones in bionicle mocks? What?
Just be sure that you clean them first.
I mean,
You know,
yes, I guess, but why?
because he's a really big fan of Boneheads of Voodoo Island.
Okay. All right, we have a funny guy here. We're moving on to the next question. Biomati asks, Ian, what is your favorite Bionicle game?
Probably Bionicle the game. Unfortunately, I never really got to play any of the Game Boy Advance games back in the day because let's just say getting my parents to let me own a Game Boy Color was a challenge. So I didn't after Game Boy Color, I didn't own a handheld game until or a handheld gaming platform until the Nintendo 2DS years later.
Mhm.
So now my parents were like anti-game because it'll distract you from schoolwork, which
Uh-huh.
is a valid concern. So they were just thinking about my future.
All
But
right.
yeah, so never really got to play those ones, so I couldn't tell you if they were any fun. Otherwise, I only got to play Bionicle the game, the Voyanui game, and the two Monog games. So Bionicle the game, I think, would be my favorite. It's, I think, the best as a proper game. Monog is a close second, then the Voyanui games, and then I want to like Monog too, but God, was it glitchy back in the day. I
It's
could never.
glitchy now.
Yeah, it is. I bet. I could never the Coley matches. The Coley matches were the absolute. They were like that game that mini game within Final Fantasy X, like the sphere game, the like underwater volleyball game from Final Fantasy X. It was like the most annoying thing. It was the coolest concept, but in practice, it was just terrible. And of
I
course, I
hate
never got to finish it. So
same actually.
yeah.
I've played
I've
most of them.
seen the end, mind you, but I never played it myself.
Yeah, no, I've seen it as well. I did a series with a friend of mine, and we ran through it, and that was the first time I actually saw it completed, beginning to end.
Oh, nice.
So,
I might
yeah.
check that out.
Oh yeah, that Monog with Meso.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Okay, yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
no.
know if I ever I know I went through all of Minog. I don't think I got all the way through Minog 2, or I just skipped to the end of it to know what the end was. One of those two. One of those two. I'll check out the full thing sometime because that sounds fun.
It not
Something to have
playing
on
it.
in the background at work. Yeah.
That's a good place for it. Uh, all right. So, OMG, I'm on fire asks, how do you guys feel about Infinite going back to the classic Halo art style? And what are your guys' favorite armors? I'll go ahead and bring up my Infinite photo. Oh, nope, it's a Bionicle. There we go.
Well, I'll say this to start off. First off, it's not an art style; it's an art direction.
Ooh.
I cannot tell you how much it annoys me. The use of the word art style in the Halo community annoys me about as much as you got probably as you probably get annoyed by people saying bionicles
I would
for
imagine, yeah.
comparison.
Or
Yeah,
saying that there's a better Lee than me. You know, I'll kill those
yeah.
people.
There you go.
But
There
continue.
you go. Just yeah, it's an art direction. Art style is technically part of the art direction, but art style doesn't really accurately, in my opinion, describe the changes from notably from Halo 3 to Halo 4 and now Halo 5 to Halo. But even
Mm-hmm.
then, like, I'm trying not to dive down this rabbit hole because I have some strong feelings.
Fair enough.
I'll just say this: the Halo 4 Master Chief armor, the Halo 4 Mjolnir, is my favorite design, followed very closely by the Halo CE Master or Mark 5. But I hate how it was introduced because I think that turned a lot of people off of it right away. I wish they had like kept the original Mark 6 and then given him the new armor once he got reunited with the UNSC when he got on the Infinity, then he can give him the new look.
Mm-hmm.
But on its own, that is my favorite armor. There is so much that went into its design to better convey the motion capture, to better convey emotion that the chief is feeling to the audience. And there are a ton of little details. Like one of my favorites is people talk about one of the criticisms of that armor is people talk about the shoulder pads being not protecting the shoulders properly. But my counterpoint to that is they actually move. They'll move in relation to the Chiefs' arm movement, so to give him a full range of motion while completely protecting his shoulders at the same time. Sadly, that was lost in Halo 5, but still, the design overall is my absolute favorite. So going back to the Infinite design, I do not hate it, but it very much feels like pandering to a section of the community. Granted, probably a majority in a very vocal section, but I don't like that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I my favorite part about the Mark 6 design, like Mark 6's helmet is my favorite helmet generally. That's what you'll see me wearing in all the games. That's always been my favorite part about Mark 6. So this feels fine, I guess. I don't feel too strongly about it one way or the other. The art direction, it seems to be okay. My favorite was always Reach's art direction. If the energy sword looks good, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So.
That's actually something too. Is like one thing I really liked about Another thing I really liked about the Halo 4 version and Halo 5 versions was the armor very much seemed designed in order to get a Spartan their full range of motion. That was like if you talk to cosplayers about cosplaying Halo 4 Chief versus Halo 3 Chief, Halo 4 Chief is a lot easier to move around.
Mm-hmm.
The Halo Infinite Chief is even worse than Halo 3 and 2 and 3 Chief in terms of mobility. Like if Chief tried to raise his arms vertically, like go or from the sides up, the Halo 3 Chief would get about he could T pose and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Before the shoulder plates interfered with his movement. The new Chief couldn't even T pose before his shoulder pads start clipping into the armor.
Oh no. I hadn't even thought about that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Ugh.
There's a beautiful rant from a cosplayer on about that stuff. So, but I won't name her because I don't think she wants the attention anymore.
Fair enough. But yeah, no. It'll be interesting.
So those are my feelings. Overall, I'm still excited for Halo Infinite. I just have some reservations.
That was the word going through my head.
Yeah, that would be another hour of discussion at least. So I'm not going to dive. I'm going to cut myself off there.
Fair enough. Thankfully, though, you have a whole channel for it.
Exactly.
All right. Biomatty asks a question: do you guys play Team Fortress 2? And Ian, do you watch Zabla story recap? I'm not sure what that is. Let me see. Yeah.
I do not recognize that name, so
All right, fair.
do not watch them. But as for Team Fortress 2, I currently do not play it. I played it back when it came out on the Orange Box, or as part of the Orange Box, but I haven't played it like since the year it was released.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. I'm just gonna point this question out before we get to the last question. Also, I don't play Team Fortress 2. Do you? Do you play TF2?
No, like I said, not since it released.
Oh, okay, got it.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So, real fast. There was an earlier question with the bones, and then Clognog asks later, "Do you think baby penguins are cute?" And I don't like the relation of these two questions. So, I'm gonna say, next question.
Not cute enough to be clubbed.
I like that.
I'm sorry.
We're going to make this one the last question from Suddenly Oranges, who asks, what do you think about the overlap of the Halo and Bionicle communities, and why do you think there is such an overlap?
I find it very fascinating how many people in the Halo community were at one point or another Bionicle fans. Like if people don't recognize me as Halo Canon, they'll say, "Oh, is your name a reference to Bionicles?" Heck yeah, and that'll usually start a whole discussion. And there are plenty of people that actually have Bionicle reference or usernames that reference Bionicle. Dear God. So it's fascinating. As I'm obviously a lore and story guy, I think a lot of the overlap just comes from how rich each universe is, and it probably helps that Halo and Bionicle both started in 2001, so there might be, people probably latched onto both of those around the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, No, I think that's about right. They do share a lot in common. O1, Mystique, uh, pretty iconic characters, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could eat very easily like the great beings to the forerunners in a lot.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I mean, I think even heck, a lot of the recent rumblings that 343 have been doing in the games, like specifically in Halo 4, there was a reference to the Chief being the pinnacle of millions of years of planning or something to that effect. It's like there's something there. You can relate that to the Great Beings making the Tomata.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so.
So, yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Amen.
All right. That's going to be about it, Ian. Thank you so much for taking the time today and for being so patient with our technical difficulties this evening.
Thank you for having me, dude. This was a lot of fun.
I'm glad.
I haven't had the chance to like talk Bionicle like this in probably more than a decade, so
well,
it feels good.
You're welcome back anytime we can schedule it, and we'll talk even more. There's, I mean, it's Bionicle. There's always something to unpack.
Yeah.
So, but that being the case, is there anywhere on social media you would like people to follow you at?
You can follow me on YouTube at Halo Canon, and I'm on Twitter at ToaFreak, TOA_FREAK. And yeah, those are the two main places. There's a Halo Canon Facebook page, but I'm not as active there as I should be.
All right, fair enough. And I hate Facebook, so I won't worry about it. So
there you go. Perfect.
But yeah, no. All right. Well, thank you, Ian. It has legitimately been a really fun time.
Definitely.
All right. And thank you to everyone listening, not only for your patience equally amongst all of the technical difficulties, but for tuning in to listen. This will be released publicly again over the next few days, before or on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for it. But thank you regardless. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And that'll do it. This has been yet another episode of the Eljay Johnsen Show. This show airs every single weekend, every Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise, over on Twitter at the Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates and guest announcements every single Tuesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you head on over to my email, eljayjohnsen@gmail.com. Remember, that's JOHNSEN. That'll do it. Thank you all so very much, and have a wonderful day.